Show you a quick way to communicate with your class via Google Meet. It's a lot easier for you to use as a teacher and a lot easier for the student to use as a student. Zoom is great too. I just think for some purposes that you and your students may have, it would be a lot easier for you to navigate through Google Meet. So I'm just going to show you quickly what I would do as a teacher to invite them to a session. So if you're wanting to have a live session with your students just to conversate, maybe have a session where they can just ask freely questions about the homework that they're working on so that you can answer any and all questions at a certain time. Think of this like an office hours type setting, so that they can ask the questions that they need to that maybe they can't quite ask from just typing that in. All right, so if that's the case, I would make an announcement notifying the students when it's going to happen. So tomorrow at 3 p.m. we will have a Google Meet session. I will provide the link here in the class screen, letting them know this is where it's going to come. So I post that. On the student side that I have over here, I'm going to refresh the page. Me as the student over here, I get notified that's going to happen. Okay. So that's good for me. And then how are we going to get the Meet session? It's very easy. If you go to meet.google.com, you'll be met with this page here. And it's very easy to start a meeting. I just click the plus button and I type in session 1. You can name this whatever you want, math session, English session, whatever you want to name. It doesn't really matter. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just a nickname. Okay. So I click start and then I'm at this screen. This is where I can decide whether to turn my mic and camera on, both or whatever. I'm going to turn both off so that there's no interference. But you would probably need to have one, at least the mic on. All right. I can choose to present my screen, or I can just join to show my camera, okay? Or just have my mic going, and I'll show you how you can navigate between those two. Once I click join, all I need to do is copy this code right here. So copy, and then I can come to this page here to share it with my class. I paste that in there, I post it, and now since it's time to join the session, I click here. Okay, so me as the student, I click here. Me as the student again decides what I want to do. I'm going to turn these off again so that I don't have any issue with that. Okay, then I can click ask to join. When I ask to join, me as the teacher can allow entry. So I admit this person, and now they are in the session. Okay. Once they are in the session, you can do a couple of different things as the teacher. So as the teacher, some things that you can do is you can come over here and you can click on the people tab. It'll open this up and your students will be listed here. Now, since this student, quote unquote, is already muted, I cannot mute them. Okay, they can unmute themselves if I mute them, but they cannot. You cannot unmute them if they've muted themselves, if that makes sense. So if they join and you need to mute them, all you have to do, again, I'll do this again, you click on the people tab, then you click the drop down next to their name and you just click there and it will mute them. Now they have the ability to unmute themselves after you mute them, just to be clear on that, but you can't unmute a student who's muted themselves. Okay. If a student is not abiding by your rules, you just click this remove and it will remove them from the session. Okay. So very easy to get them out of the session if they're not abiding by your rules. You shouldn't have an issue with that though. Okay. Another cool thing that you can do inside of here is you can turn on captions. And so if I turn that on, I can actually begin to talk and it will record what I'm doing. So if I undo that, you'll hear some feedback, but basically if I undo that, it will begin to read what I'm typing. Okay. So that's a very nice feature to have. when you have that on, it will actually read what you're typing there. So very, very good thing to have there. Okay. The other thing you can do is you can present your screen to students. So if you're working on something from your screen that you want them to see, you can click present now, and then you can say your entire screen, and then of course share your screen. And then it will actually share what I'm doing on that screen. And so just to show you from a student view what that will look like, I come here. And so if the student wants to see something, I can come here and you'll see on their screen it's showing all that up. And of course it's going into infinity there, but whatever I do on this screen, they're going to see as well. And so I can show them something like Google Drive if I need to, and then navigate and do a presentation, and the presentation will show up on their screen. So while you're in that share screen mode, it will do that. Once you are done presenting your screen, you can just click here, click stop presenting, and it will no longer present the screen. Okay? If a student needs you to send them the link again, they lost it, can't access Google Classroom, you need to email it to them for whatever reason, you can actually copy that right there and send it to them again. Another way students can join is they can join this. They can dial this number, type in this PIN, and then they can be on a phone call. Now, you won't be able to see them. You will still be able to mute them, but you won't be able to see them, of course, because they won't have a camera. Okay. Another thing you can do here is you can actually add attachments. Okay. But these would only show up if you did this through Google Calendar. And if you want to do that, I'll show you how to do that. But again, that's to me not a very useful feature. I don't like to use Google Calendar to run the show. Over here, next to the people is a chat. So you can actually send chats to everyone and they can chat here. So if a student's have an issue with their mic or whatever, they can actually type their questions here and you can answer them that way. So a very good way to get in contact with your students and have a session with your students. Again, the same thing kind of applies that I sent out with Zoom. Just keep yourself safe, keep your students safe when you're doing this. And that's pretty much it. You can also pin participants. So if you want to see this participant, I can pin them and then it will lock them in. When you pin, what ends up happening is that person shows up on the screen. So whoever you click on is pinned to the screen and you're saying just have them on your screen. That's a nice feature to have as well. That might be something to tell your students once they join. Click on people and click on you so that when other students talk, they don't show up, that it stays locked on you. That's a good thing to have. One great feature about this is private chat can't happen. So like in Zoom where you have to turn that feature off, you don't have to turn that feature off here. The chat is just going to happen natively right here between everyone. So you don't have to worry about that. If you have more questions about this, just let me know. But to me, this is a little bit easier on you as a teacher to communicate with students.